Have you heard of mindfulness before? It's kind of hard to imagine that you haven't because it's gained so much popularity these last few years. But if you haven't, don't worry, you will learn in this video. And I'm also going to be explaining why I think it's effective, research that shows it is effective, and ways that you can implement it in your classroom. I first heard of mindfulness when I was in my sophomore year of high school. My Spanish teacher, every day when we came into the class, she put on a guided meditation for us. At first I thought it was a little bit silly and I was kind of resistant to it, but as the year progressed and I got more used to it, it was a part of my day that I really looked forward to because it helped me kind of ground myself and just feel ready for the day. It was also awesome because that was my first period. So if this is something we can bring, especially at the start of the day, I think that would be great. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about what mindfulness is. So like I said, it has gained popularity, and I think this is totally warranted. It yields amazing results for all sorts of people. Rhys Davids translated the word mindfulness from the Pali word sati, which meant calling to mind or being aware of. So mindfulness is based in Buddhism. This word came from Buddhist texts, but it has been adopted of people of all faiths and ideologies, so it can be implemented in many different environments. Mindfulness and meditation are often talked about in the same breath. Mindfulness is defined by Dr. Parish in the mindfulness meditation presentation as a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations with non-judgment. While meditation is defined as a focused awareness often guided with words and or music on specific topics such as loving, kindness, compassion, relaxation, and more. It's almost prayer-like. There is more intervention than there is with mindfulness. Now, meditation can be used as a means to practice mindfulness. The Schumann study in 2020 stated that mindfulness reduced impulsivity among people with opioid use disorder. It is also reported to have large effects on binge eating and has been integrated into healthcare treatment. Mindfulness implemented into the healthcare system has increased rates of health action plan initiation. So patients with mindfulness training are more likely to initiate an action plan with their health than those who don't. It's also shown to yield long-term rates of tobacco abstinence after quitting smoking. The Brewer study showed 31% of those who stopped smoking by means of mindfulness training were still abstaining at a 17-week follow-up, while 6% of those who had freedom from smoking intervention maintained abstinence. So it's clear that there's benefits to practicing mindfulness, but can this help our students? I'm glad you asked. The Franco 2016 study showed after 10 weekly sessions of meditation or guided meditation, the experimental group of adolescents ranging from ages 12 to 17 showed reduced impulsivity and aggressiveness, and a 24% decrease in the verbal aggression dimension of their study. Mindfulness can change your behavior, your habits, and even the way you speak to people. So like I mentioned, meditation is a means of increasing mindfulness. And according to the Keng 2011 study, meditators reported significantly higher levels of mindfulness, self-compassion, and overall sense of well-being, and significantly lower levels of psychological symptoms, rumination, thought suppression, fear of emotion, and difficulties with emotional regulation compared to non-meditators. Changes in these variables were linearly associated with the extent of meditation practice. So the more you meditate, the more you are increasing these variables, emotional regulation and mindfulness, of course, being some of them. I really could have used more of that when I was growing up. I think it's really helpful for students because emotional regulation is not something everyone just learned. It's really cool that this can be easily implemented into the classroom environment. It is accessible. It might seem a little overwhelming at first, but let me assure you that it can be easily integrated into your lessons, maybe stuff you're already doing. While you may not be doing yoga, tai chi, or qigong, there are plenty of ways to introduce mindfulness in your classroom. Guided meditation was the way my teacher in my sophomore year introduced mindfulness to us. And this was done by just putting on a YouTube video. It was a guided meditation YouTube video. There was, water trickling sounds in the background or calm music, and usually just like a nice voice reminding us of the feelings of our body being present in the world. Like I said, it was really grounding. I felt more present afterward, and I felt like I was ready to, stop ruminating on the outside world before I began my lesson and started to learn for the day. I volunteer in a classroom. My classroom teacher has the kids, take a deep breath every now and then if they're getting ahead of themselves or asking a lot of questions, what are we doing later? Like this and this and this. Just breathe. What are we doing right now? I think that can really help, and it's something so quick and easy that it just seems really nice. Journaling is another very easy way to have students practice mindfulness. Journal about all their senses, what they can see, taste, touch, hear, anything that applies to the moment. But just make sure that they're focusing on the present moment, not the future nor the past. You can demonstrate gratitude, and maybe this will help your students also feel gratitude for the current moment. Let's look around and notice what we see and what we're grateful for. Intention setting is something that I didn't really have in my classroom environment, or I wasn't aware that I had it in my classroom environment until this semester with one of my professors. Every day she goes over the schedule for the day, what we're gonna do, and then we pull up classroom expectations, and we're meant to choose one expectation that we're going to be aware of during that class time. I think this is something that can easily be implemented into any grade. So these are just a few ways that I found could be helpful in a classroom that are pretty accessible too. So I hope this helped, and I hope you learned a bit about what mindfulness is, how it can help people in general, and ways you might be able to implement it in your classroom. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.